Playing Envy is quick to learn, easy to play, fun, take-that style game where the goal is to end the round with the longest and most impressive tool on the table. First, pick your favorite head card. The dealer passes out the cards for your hand. Check the rules as the amount depends on how many players there are. Starting player is to the left of the dealer. Your hand will be a mix of red, blue, and possibly yellow cards. Play blue cards to grow or manipulate your shaft. Some blue cards have special effects that can significantly affect the other player's shafts. Play red cards to shrink your opponent's shafts and give your shaft a chance to shine. Continue to take turns until a player has run out of cards and cannot play a card on their turn. Then all players total their shafts, adding or subtracting as needed. The winner is the one left with the longest schlong.
I'm going to do nipple clamps, and I'm going to force you to discard both your cards.
Oh.
Oh my god!
What you
Oh my gosh!
Well, that's the game.
That is. What you at, Lynn?
I have
I
4,
think you
5,
ended up winning.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Aww.
That's 7.
You may have played your hand
7,
too
8, 9.
soon.
There are 3 card types in Envy. Blue cards will grow your shaft and can affect other people's shafts and are called growth cards. Red cards or shrinkage cards are generally meant to be played on your competitor's shafts, decreasing their size. However, you can play shrinkage cards on your shaft, and depending on your strategy and inclinations, that can work in your favor. There is only one yellow card, the cock block, which stops any card from being played on your shaft or your competitor's shafts. And yes, you can cock block a cock block.
No, unless you got a cock block can stop
I'm
a
gonna
cock block.
cock block a cock block. So.
Sorry, how about
Oh!
that? 2 of those.
Wow.
Only one goes on there though, right? Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Only one?
Only
Yeah.
the last one.
Blue cards are divided into 4 card types: hand manipulation, shaft manipulation, table effects, and basic growth cards. Blue hand manipulation cards allow you to force a player to discard cards into the discharge pile, or draw cards from the cock pile. It is important to note that you can choose yourself as the player. This allows you to use the cards more strategically. For example, you can slap on the nipple clamps to force a player of your choice to discard 2 cards of their choice. Or perform 69 with yourself and another player, where each person has to draw 2 cards from the cock pile. Maybe you are more voyeuristic and would rather have 2 players perform 69. The choice is yours for whatever feels best to you. Swingers allow you to swap hands with another player if you want to spice things up a little bit. Most of the blue shaft manipulation cards allow you to impact all players' shafts. This should work in your favor, but typically it's a mixed bag when you are getting handsy with several dicks at once. A sweet hand job will remove the 3rd card from each shaft, but remember that includes yours, so use your hand wisely. If you go balls deep, you get your choice of 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th card to remove from each shaft, so you will need to thoroughly examine the other cocks on the table to make sure you pick well. Giving a dick punch allows you to remove 1 card from any shaft. This could be a shrinkage card from your own shaft or a growth card from your opponent's schlongs. Dick punch cannot remove herpes because, as you know, herpes cannot be removed. There are 3 blue table effect cards, meaning they affect all the meat popsicles at the table. Maybe you are in the mood for a circle jerk with your friends, where each player gets to draw from the cock pile.
Well, I like circle jerks, and starting with me, each player draws a card from the cock pile.
We all like circle jerk. Who doesn't like a good circle jerk?
Sometimes an orgy seems like it would be fun, but since it forces you to put the top card of the cock pile onto each player's shaft without performing the action, well, you might not enjoy what you get from an orgy. Risk takers will play spin the bottle, and if your skin flute is lacking luster, what have you got to lose? Just shuffle all shafts together, and starting with you, place one of those cards onto each player's shaft until all the cards have been placed onto shafts. We're gonna go ahead and spin the bottle.
Oh.
Oh.
So what does that do?
It,
Give me all the cards. Give
Nobody's
her
got
all
a
the
cock block?
shafts. All the shafts.
Nobody's got a cock block. Damn.
Give up your 4 inches, Dan. Right, you're holding on to that 4 inches like it's just the most precious thing in the world.
I was working on becoming average, all right?
It was just 4 inches.
Starting with you.
Lay
Deal
down.
them puppies out. Ugh. Come on now. Oh, what the?
Blue basic growth cards are events that clearly will add inches to your crotch rocket. A lap dance adds a full 4 inches, but let's face it, a perfect blowjob rocks it out with a full 5-inch increase to your beef whistle. Red cards are mostly basic shrinkage cards. I mean, nothing more needs to be said when you give your loved one whiskey dick, reducing his trouser snake by 3 inches or causing your friend to suffer some performance anxiety with a devastating 5-inch loss to their one-eyed wonder worm. Herpes is the one special red card, as once you have contracted herpes, it cannot be removed. There are only 2 ways to get herpes off of your shaft. Smack that ass, will transfer it to your hand, and spin the bottle can potentially give it to someone else. If a card says remove, it will not work on herpes. If a shaft manipulation card will target herpes, it is ignored for that player's custard launcher. Of course, if herpes is cock-blocked, it never landed on the player's baloney pony and never takes effect. We have already looked at the yellow card cock-block, but we should take note that a cock-block can cock-block a cock-block, or even a cock-blocked cock-block, and so on, with the final cock-block being the only one that takes effect and all others are discarded.